This is Beyond the Rift on Elite. So
this is unlike anything you have ever seen before. Mountains of stone float in the air, tethered together by huge strands of webbing. Yet these are not barren rocks. You can see signs of life clinging to them.
So this quest was a bridge quest to Evening Star. Completing this quest would give you access to Evening Star.
You're a stranger here, I'm thinking. What brings ye into the demon web? Ye must have come through the rift that she made. The rift to the other world. Perhaps ye have come to mend it. 'Tis no small task. I can aid ye in all this, but it will not be easy. Come with me. We are in the realm of the vile goddess Loth. She and her sister, the Spinner of Shadows, are the source of thy current troubles. 'Twas only possible for me to come here because Loth let her guard slip when the rift opened, and I cannot easily leave the demon web until she slips again. This rift, her sister, the magic shards she's plundered from your world, they are all part of some vast and tangled scheme of Loth's. Closer to my home, Loth now wages war on the kingdom of Cormier in a little village named Evening Star. This rift and that war are bound together in her plan, and so are you, I suspect. Hark! I sense that she has dropped her guard again. Occupied with her sister, most like. I must leave while I can. Find thy way to Evening Star. I will meet you there. 'Tis a dangerous journey, but you seem to be accustomed to dangerous journeys.
Elminster departs. The demon web sprawls out before you. Somewhere in this chaotic maze lies the path to the place Elminster called Evening Star. The hunched creatures ahead make some strange as they root through old bones. They produce even more disgusting smells.
So once you kill the last stretch, this way forward moves, or this way forward moves is opened, and it's pretty linear. There's a few optional side paths which I'll point out. I generally am going to skip all the side paths.
Looms in the distance. What will she do now that she is free from her prison in Khyber? Only the strong survive in the demon web, and these treasures were not strong.
So if you go forward here, you just fight some spiders. I'm going to pass that and just go right, which is the way forward when you get to this fork. And then this is a path up to a possible optional. Usually if the optional was there, you'd see it. So if you want to do that optional, you'd get the message here and then you can go up and see it. Sometimes you might get it when you go around this corner.
In the center of the
But
demon web is a vast structure
if we're not
that
getting the
can
message,
only
I don't
be
think the optional is there.
Loth's lair. In the distance, the spinner of shadows scuttles along the demon web, intent on some errand of her own.
And that shrine is a dead end, so if you need a shrine, you can go there. Otherwise, the path forward is straight ahead or west. And then we'll circle around this thing, and this part here, there's only one path.
The spider hatchery lies empty. The brood it bore has already consumed the weak and the slow. Then dispersed fragments of long-forgotten worlds lie ensnared in Loth's web. This will be the fate of Eberron as you find a way to return the myth that is slowly consuming.
And so this way here is kind of like, it's grid-like. I'm going to get this stretch when he comes, and then it's sort of grid-like, and so there's a shrine over there, and kind of where this dot is here, that is the path forward. And it's interesting. It looked like when I did this, I saw a red name briefly way up there. You can see that's the optional up there, right? So he's going to be in a couple different spots. So he's up there. He could also be in that last spot that we were in, and there's another spot he could be in as well. So we're just going to head towards that cave, which is straight here. There's yet another shrine here. The quest is very generous in shrines, but the location of them are interesting. Like, there's not one before the end fight, and the closest one to the end fight requires you to do some fighting to actually use a shrine. So usually people use the last shrine before the end fight, which is up ahead. There's the spinner of shadows, and there's going to be some spiders that spawn over here once we get
on a distant shard of the demon web. Loth greets the spinner of shadows.
It is time, my sister. The dragon shards are in place, so let us begin the ritual. I promise you power beyond imagining. Now join me, sister. Let go of your physical form and join me. Become greater than you ever were. Become one with Loth.
So the boss that's going to spawn here, the Dragoloth, is orange name, so we could beat him with Holy Retribution if it procs, if it succeeds. But to complete the objective, you have to kill everything: the spiders behind, the dretch ahead, and sometimes there's a dretch that's sort of like hiding near the front area. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Holy Retribution here once they get a little closer. Now on Epic Elite, you can't kill him that way. They're immune to death. Orange names are immune to death on Epic, so that's okay. We'll take him down, and once we have Dire Charge, all right, you can see there's that one spider that's sort of hiding, and once we defeat him, we should have the Dragoloth defeated objective, and there it is. This thing is a chest. There's in a few of the demon web type places these chests
Ahead
spawn
lies
with
a
that look.
glimmering magical
Another
portal.
shrine.
You have no way of knowing what strange new world it leads to, but at least it will take you away from the demon web. You find yourself in a vast cavern of stone deep below the surface. If you are to find Elminster, you must first make an escape from the vastness of the Underdark.
Take that ramp up, and that takes you to this next part. If you actually walk away from these things, you could avoid them, but a lot of times what will end up happening is they'll kind of sneak up behind you. So as you just take them out as I'm going. There's some spiders that spawn ahead, so usually before approaching that cave area up there, I try to take these elementals down, just so I'm not fighting the elementals and the spiders at the same time. And there's also, I like to clear this area first.
The sound of battle has alerted
There
another.
sometimes there's a red name boss here with a chest, but normally it's just spiders. And you can see once you get close, all these spiders spawn. That's why I was wanting to fight the elementals before getting too close to this. And I like to neutralize that poison because it'll, it seems like it turns into stat damage otherwise, so. And behind this is that last shrine I was talking about. This is the last shrine that you don't have to fight for. There's one more that you could fight for. So generally, groups will want to use this shrine.
You have stumbled into a group of heavily armed drow. They don't look anything like the drow you've encountered back on Eberron.
Yeah, this was intended to be sort of like an introduction to Forgotten Realms drow. You know, they made these drow tougher than drow encountered in Eberron, you know, Jungle and Kyber and other places. And And so prior to this, this was part of the prequel to Menace of the Underdark, and this was actually the way to get to Menace of the Underdark. When you completed this quest, you'd be able to enter Menace of the Underdark. And so one of the things they did when they released this quest and Menace of the Underdark is they used to have an ability called Proof of Poison, and the other place behind here, back here, there could be also an optional. Usually I'd be getting it'd be flashing, but there's some other spot where it is. I saw it way up high somewhere. Accidentally noticed it. So I've never been to that spot before. I'm not sure where that is actually, but probably in that web of sort of that grid-like web area.
A magical portal lies ahead. If the scouts are right, it will take you closer to the surface.
Now I'm gonna get my boots of propulsion on for this.
The patrol you saw before is taking
you could below there's a bunch of elementals, and if you make this jump, which is not too hard, you could also use your boots of propulsion clicky to make that a little bit basically to propel you forward to make sure you make that jump. Then it's you avoid fighting all the elementals below.
Spots you.
Surface dwellers down here?
It snaps.
The slavers are growing careless. I shall have to clean up after them.
Alright, so I think we got no. So sometimes you get some skeletons. I'm going to try to just go to the right. To the left here, this is where your shrine is, but you have to fight a bunch of animated armors to get to it. Not just these, there's some other ones as well. So I usually, I mean, if I need the shrine, I'm gonna use it, fight them. It's not that bad, but generally I try to avoid that shrine, especially on higher, the higher the difficulty you get, the more work it is.
Once again, you see the now familiar sight of the Drow Surface Patrol.
There's usually some words here, so you'll want usually want to get these first.
A small but well-guarded Drow outpost lies up ahead.
I think that was... Oh, the disable device failure. I forgot to put my disable device item back on. So let's see if there's another one. Yet one more. Let's see if I can get it before these things notice me. Alright, well that was good. And this guy here is actually like a yellow name that sort of acts like a red name in terms of his, it's pretty tough, and he didn't die to that. He almost seems like he has immunities, like red name immunities, even though he doesn't show his red name. It could just be that he has a really high save as well.
With military precision unheard of on Centric. Even so, the defender of the outpost is finally dead. Freely pass through its portals and learn what lies beyond.
And this is the end fight. I'm just going to renew a few of my buffs.
A fresh breeze blows down. The leader of the drow turns to confront you.
More fodder for the slaves. Seize them.
And so this boss really isn't that tough now, but when he was new, he was pretty tough. He was actually did a lot of damage. People used to actually climb on top of that shrine and go after him with a bow and arrow. That's how tough he was. I think they actually changed it so you couldn't jump on that shrine, or at least they made it harder to jump on the shrine. So that's their poison attack or whatever that can make me helpless temporarily.
From inside the cage calls to the villagers in the cage, anxiously point to a large lever near the door.
And Anna is kind of a key character in Evening Star.
I've given up hope. But where did you come from?
Talk to her, and that ends the quest. There's a chest up above. And the reward you actually get from Elminster, who's in the end of the... Actually looks like some good boots. Let me check here. Not too bad. Seeker Sheltering. Alright, so I'm going to pause it while I make my way over to Elminster. So one little glitch is Elminster doesn't look like he has a reward for you. It looks like you forgot to complete it or something. But if you actually talk to him, he'll give you the reward. There's a few places in the game where the quest giver's like that, and this is one of them. And then he now shows up. You can't retake the quest from him. You go back into the cave before the quest to get the quest again. That is Beyond the Rift on Elite.